Okay, we're still hoping to get some Janowski QGDs to give some examples on stream, because I think it is an appealing opening in a lot of ways. So hopefully someone someday plays d4 against us. We're trying to transpose into d4. They can also play e4. Alright, let's go d5. c5 is also playable. d4 is the main move here. Takes. I usually play bc3. Here I can include this, and I get a pretty active bishop. Sure, I love queen trades. All about them. I'm on b2. b6 and bishop b7 is, usually what you do with the pawn on e6. I think knight c6. It walks into a pin, but I'm going to castle queenside shortly, and then I won't be too worried about it. Maybe knight e5 coming. With some weak squares in their camp. And they can't castle because of d2. Okay, maybe now knight e5. I still don't... Ooh, they can castle. I'm pinned. They actually almost had f4 there. I didn't realize I was pinned. Alright, gotta step out of that. I thought they couldn't castle. They'd have to trade first, and if they did, I'd be able to infiltrate on d2. But I cannot. Right, I guess I can take on c4. And I have everything defended such that rook d7 I can play king c6 or king c8. Alright, let's just not allow the rook in. My rook feels passive, so I'm going to try to swing it to e5 or c5, where it might be able to infiltrate. On e5 they were going to play king f2, so I thought this made more sense. I was worried the rook was going to swing over and start hitting my pawns, but it can't now that they've played f3. So I think I should be pretty happy they made that move. King c6 I always have to worry about knight d4, is obviously cannot be played now. I don't want to allow their rook in though, so maybe king c8. Keep these two squares defended, and then my knight can move. Probably to f5. Now they have to go back to f2. They disagree, but they are incorrect. Yeah. Alright, 1 for 1. Yeah, I play cd5 here as white and then e5, but e5 is the main line. White is supposed to play bc3 here, queen f6, and then usually d4 next. And white, claims this big center, and black claims. Those pawns are kind of awkward. I just have kind of natural development. But I think after fg7 I should be fine, maybe a little better. I certainly didn't prove it there, but I think it makes sense that I would be. Alright. This person beat me last video when I clocked from a decent position. Apparently didn't want to play again. And I think I also played this person last video. Alright, we got a Scandi. Was never too well prepared against the Scandi. I picked up this thing, I think I saw it on ChessPub, which is a really phenomenal forum if you're interested in opening theory. It's a nice idea. Where you just don't put the pawn on d4 to become a target. And you sort of find alternate ways to develop, usually with f4, f5. Yeah. I kind of like this here. Makes it a little awkward for them to, ever play e6. Because if they have to take f-pawn back, they have worse pawns, and if they have to take queen back, they're getting in trouble. Alright, so I think I want to try to make sure they break up their pawns. So I intend to take back queen. Can probably start developing, just intending rook ae1. I don't think queen d4 check is ever a problem, though I definitely have to keep an eye out for it because, leaving a check in the air is always a potential tactic somewhere down the road. For instance, if I move this knight to e4, queen d4 would win a pawn. The other knight to e4? Trying to sort of weaken their pawn structure on their king side. Now I guess I'm intending knight takes f6. And if knight d5, I might have f6. So hoping to just, get a slightly better pawn structure where I have this 4-on-3 queenside majority, and they've had to take back this way, so their 4-on-3 isn't very good. That's the hope. I guess trade queens. Pawn looks a little awkward. And just bishop d2. I don't really threaten bishop b4. I just want to leave the pawn there. If I take, they get to, fix their pawns. I want to make sure they can't hit c3. That's the potential weakness now that they've opened the c file. I also like the bishop here controlling h6, so like if I had a turn, I wouldn't want to bring it here. I think that would be a bad way to handle c-file pressure, because they could both blast it out of the way with d4, and it would give their bishop an obvious path into the game. Right now their bishop takes a few turns to get in. Maybe they should take, then play rook c8, that comes with tempo, and that'll give time for bishop f8. But if I still have a rook on the f-file, I wouldn't there, because I'd have taken back. Then I'd have fg6 in response and be able to take on f6. My opponent may have disconnected. Unclear. Oh. Now maybe do I want bishop c3? This is a nice way of, doubling where if I take, they improve their pawns. So I think I should choose between bishop c3 and d4. Either way, I want to inconvenience them. If I play d4, they have a second square their rook can go to that's opened up. So I'm going to play bishop c3, even though I claimed earlier I wouldn't. I do not mind them taking here at all. I think their tripled pawns are terrible, and I wouldn't have to rush or anything to try to win them back. Hey, someone commented on one of my YouTube videos. Alright, so the bishop did get into the game, but they did have to give up this pawn to do it. And that also means their rook now is going to have trouble getting out because there's always back rank things. So maybe rook e5, or do I just want to get my king closer first? I also have rook e7. I'm going to start with the king move. I think the king move can't be harmful, and I'm not sure which square my rook belongs on. Keep the pawns together. The bishop also does a good job controlling d4, such that they don't have d4. If they take, their bishop's trapped. So I guess now I want to activate my rook. The one worry is maybe bishop c1, but then I can just actually move this pawn because the bishop defends f6. So they've been forced into passivity. And now how do they defend d5? I probably will insert g3 at some point, especially now that the bishop has no squares to retreat along this diagonal. Yeah, and they just resigned. Alright. 2-0. This line, it works a little better against queen a5 than queen d6, but my core idea is just I'm going to play the pawn to d3 instead of d4 and not give them a target. And then I'm going to do weird maneuvers with my f-pawn. It's an odd way of going about it, but I've had decent results. All right, 2 for 2. We will never get a QGD Janowski. Never. Incidentally, I've been saying that a lot. I haven't said what it is in this video, so I may have been confusing people because it's not a commonly described name. But it is an early a6 in the QGD. Okay, not familiar with this g3, but I'm going to play very standardly and try to quickly activate my bishop because they gave me a square for the bishop. Is there any way I can put early pressure? I don't see clear path, so I'm just going to play knight d7 to f8. I might consider h5, h4 someday. Maybe I should have played queen c7 so that h3, g4, if my bishop has to retreat, I have knight f4 covered. Maybe I should just retreat to f5 then. Looks like a good diagonal. Okay. Rook e2 is a little too much. Let's not do that. Let's just improve our pieces. We have this slightly strange pawn structure where they have the 4-on-3 majority on the queen side, while my majority is not really possible to take advantage of for me. So what I'm going to try to do is put pressure on d4. It's possible I'm giving them the option to get rid of the weakness with takes and then d5, but maybe I have rook d8 there. Keep pressure. If d5, I think I have knight c7. Yeah. So maybe I just want to really control d5. Let's not give them d5 breaks. Do not want to trade queens. Now I hit h3. Maybe I can insert bishop c2, and if the rook goes this way, I can come back to d3, so the rook probably goes here. But then I have a pin on the knight. So bishop c2 might actually be a useful move to include if they play like g4. I can't take on h3 because c7 hangs. Okay, so I like the bishop c2 idea. I think they have to trade, otherwise they lose e1, and then the rook has to hide somewhere. Probably f1, because otherwise when I come in, I might hit c1 awkwardly. Yeah, because rook d2, I play rook e1 takes c1. So I think they have to play rook f1. I don't have bishop d3, sadly, because their knight defends it. I have no idea how to evaluate this position. Like, it seems like it should be kind of straightforward, and white should probably be a little better. But their pieces are awkward. Like, after the rook goes to f1, if they ever play knight e2, then I have bishop d3. Where's this knight going? Will they have to play, like, queen d2 to drive out the bishop? How comes the bishop's so good? It doesn't feel like it should be that good. I'll play knight d5. I'd be happy for them to trade their fianchetted bishop. Yeah, queen d2 makes sense. I'll come back to f5. Trying to take on h3. If they play rook e1, I can't. We'll stop any expansion of theirs. Maybe try knight b6 to c4 at some point. Maybe I should have played something like rook e6 before so I could get my queen behind it. I guess let's play rook e6 now, see if they want to fix my pawns. Play like the previous game, where, you know, give them an option to improve my pawns. My king probably goes to f7. I guess my queen goes to f7 now. Okay, fair enough. They are freeing themselves. Ooh, knight c5. Gotta stop that, but it does give me this weakness. I could also take on d3 and follow with g6. I kind of feel like I need to. I feel like otherwise everything gets too weak. I probably didn't actually have to play g6 immediately. If there was something useful to do, I should have looked harder there. Okay. You give me a pawn, I'm going to try to take it because I want to create winning chances here. And I feel this is, you know, a difficult position to fight for a win in. g7 or f7? I feel g7's a little safer because at some point they're probably going to get a check and I'd like to be able to go out this way. Have not found progress, obviously. Maybe queen b6 next? Nope, apparently not. Can I do g5 and not get mated? I hope so. I think so. h4 is my idea. If they play f4, I come to f5. Ooh, maybe h4 isn't my idea. Because h4, f4, f5, g4, if I take here, they get f6 at the end. So what can we do instead? I don't know. Play fast. Let's make a move. What's the threat? I don't see it. Ah, you're just checkmating me. That is a threat. Okay, gotta create fleeing space. Try not to get checkmated. Their king will be open too. I think at this point the game will be won by whoever can go faster, honestly. Or they will have a perpetual here. Okay, no perpetual. If I mate myself by trying to avoid the perpetual, so be it. Okay, gotta avoid queen h5 mate. Okay. You don't have a check. You still don't have a check. That's any good. Alright, so I can start checking. I guess I got there. Alright, that was pretty iffy. 3-0, anything to say? Yeah, I should look at what to do against this g3, because I'm not familiar with it. Does anyone play g3? Apparently not. Alright, queen d5. That's interesting, right? Because, like, normally you just don't have this square because there's a knight on c3, but it immediately tries to inconvenience. Alright, the computer, as soon as it actually looks at the move, doesn't like it anymore. Okay. Knight a6? No, this is not me. Okay, sure, white's not taking, but no. Okay, so bishop d6 has been played. Bishop g2. Castles. Knight e2. Rook e8 is normally played and looks good. Castles. Now I need to find a plan, and specifically what to do with the bishop. So one player went knight d7 to f8, and did the standard knight thing before figuring out what to do with the light-squared bishop. People who did pick something to do with the light-squared bishop did go for my bishop g4. Yeah, I thought rook e1 was basically forced. Totally blanked that bishop e3 was a move. Queen d7 makes sense as response. Sure. Oops. Okay, rook e1, knight d7, h3. I thought bishop f5 was a little clever, but okay, bishop h5. Bishop h5. If they continued the same way, bishop f4 is not on the board. g4 is creating weakness. Yeah, this is a better way to handle it. Okay, black's a little better. I think though with d5, I'd play c5. Is that wrong? Queen c7 is interesting. Saying, I don't mind these slightly weakened pawns, but I get, a good file. I have hints of bishop takes g3. What's the threat? Knight c5 or rook a d8. Okay. Yeah. Black's pretty active here. It's hard for white to target the pawn because they can't really move this knight. Alright, I believe that is 3 for 3 this video. So, 2 more wins, and that is a long way away. But if we do win 2 more, could have my second 5 for 5 video, which would be quite nice. I haven't played a 4 Knights on stream for a while. I do like the Spanish 4 Knights. I played the Scotch 4 Knights for a bit. I just castle here. There's a Kenilworthian article on this that I picked it up from. I guess just go for d3 and bishop g5. Probably they should play h6. Okay, this pin looks kind of annoying. They might be forced into a bishop e7 at some point. Okay. If you give me only one move, I can often find it. But now I have more than one move, so I'm thus stymied. I'm just going to go a3. I don't know where I want to reposition my knight yet, so I'm not going to force the action on it. And this strikes me as unthreatening. Yeah, they did feel obliged. Okay. Probably want the rook on d1 to help push d4. I was thinking queen g3, but then I thought knight h5 maybe. We'll keep them, they've clearly been annoyed by this pin if they had to go back. I'm just going to start hitting this pawn and look for d4. That stops my idea. Maybe knight e2 and then d4? Knight g5 annoying? I don't think so. If knight g5 comes, I'll play queen e3 and then I might switch over to f4. I also might play c3 and d4. This is looking a lot like, not that much, but this looks to me like it came out of an Italian game that went weird. I like the look of d4. Because if takes, knight takes, I start hitting f5 and c6. So they did not take. d5, c5. Therefore, stay centralized. Okay. If they take here, I take back such that I defend the e4 pawn again. I don't know if I want f4, but I could. Now I can play d5 and they can't push past. So I think I should take this opportunity to play it. And I want to take back with my pieces. I never want to take back pawn, because then their d6 pawn, despite being backwards, is completely fine. I want to keep a piece on d5. Treat this like it's some kind of Sicilian. Maybe play c3 at some point just to rule out b4 and c-file pressure. Looks hard for them to do much. To fight against this pawn structure, they'd really have to get their knight in the game. So I should probably look to trade for that knight if I can. Because I think that is their clear best piece. They can play bishop g5. I don't know if it does anything. Do I want f4? I kind of want f4. Just looks nice to me, even if this pawn's weak. Looks like the proper kind of forceful way to go. If pawn takes, knight takes, bishop g5, I think I just play queen f3. But I'm just trying to trade off this knight. I just feel like if their knight comes off, I like my position. And maybe I shouldn't be so excited about it. I just feel like that knight is their piece. Okay, they're on e4. I wanted to move the rook away to play knight d5, but I don't think I have time now. I guess I have to settle for rook e1. Still want to move this rook away, though. Maybe they should just play rook e8, though. And then they're probably going to get this pawn. Okay, sidestep the pin. Still want to move my rook and play knight d5, but I didn't have rook takes c5 or rook takes g5. Neither one looked worth it. Interesting game. I probably shouldn't have gone for f4. But now I can get out of the way with tempo. So I will get my knight on d5. So now things are going better. I have to play queen somewhere that keeps this under control. And now knight c7 doesn't do much. Rook f1 loses the e4 pawn. Alright, let's play h4, see where the bishop goes. Because it doesn't have many squares. Bishop d2, rook e2. It's got to be feeling pretty awkward right now, right? Alright. You know what? I just want to trade for that knight. That knight annoys me. I've said I thought their knight was their best piece. I still think it. I'm going to try to get rid of their knight. The inclusion of h4 probably not so helpful because they were on it, but I guess they're not on it now. Yeah. But when I take... Okay, let's just bring the bishop to a more active square. Maybe think about queen g4 and then invasions on f6. Stay active. They can't ever play g6 without losing f6. So... no, they're the one that wants to trade. Okay. I will say no. I've completely changed my tune. I'm all about my bishop. Alright. Gonna keep the bishop on the king side and intending to play queen g4. Threatening knight f6. So if knight here... Alright, gotta just figure out what to do. We'll come back. I should have played knight c7, I missed that. So if they go back to e6, I will play knight c7. Alright. Trade the e4 pawn for the f7 pawn, maybe. Okay, I will finally get rid of their knight. I just loosened my own knight, so this was not precise, but... I gotta go quick! Quick! What am I doing? I did go fast enough, making just horrible, horrible moves, but we got there in time. Now 4 for 4. I think against this knight d4, kind of worthy and suggests castles. Bishop c4 is a gambit line, bishop a4 is probably best. But I think castles is kind of simple. After takes, takes. Here, knight c3, white plays a quick d4. You lose the two bishops, you get a little central space. I think it's not much for white, but, you know, it's a pleasant position. This is supposed to be good for white, but I guess I don't know why. Knight a4 is not a move I considered. Right. None of these moves are making sense to me. Bishop e2? If we're playing bishop e2, what's the whole point of it all? Queen g3 is making a little more sense. Okay, queen g3. If castles, I take e5, right? So queen e7, say. Now if I take g7, rook g8 looks potentially annoying. Always with the bishop e2, I can't ever come to c4? Why not? I just can't play... Why not d3? c6? I don't... Okay, bishop e2. Apparently that's the big thing. c6 anyway. d3. Maybe my bishop is better here. Maybe it gets chased out there, and maybe I'm going to play f4. Okay. So, against knight f3, move the queen off, get the bishop behind before playing d3, and then go for f4. That's a way of playing. I have an idea for next time that comes up. And we're going for 5. Pressure's on. Have I properly bribed Lichess to give me my millionth white? Probably. Ooh, no. And of course, I will not get a chance to do my stuff. I forget my Grob prep. I had a coach that told us you should just take the pawn. Bishop g2, bishop g4, c4, just take the pawn and be happy. I don't want to draw. And he would play d4 or dc4 and allow them to grab the rook and say, I have compensation. Now, if we don't want to do that, what are we supposed to do? Play knight f6. They can play queen b3. That's like the big point of this opening. But I thought there were sneaky things I could do. No idea what they are. e6. Keep the pawn solid. They can have the b pawn. I'll just play knight d7. Okay. They may end up a pawn here. Knight c5 do anything? Probably not. Right, let's see where the queen goes. I guess we lose this pawn now this way, but I get a lot of tempo for it. I am definitely ahead in development. Yeah, I'm going to keep this pawn. Can I play rook b4? Grab d4? I think so. I'm going to do that. Then take on d4. Maybe play rook b6. They have no fear. Feels like something must be hanging. Okay, I'll take. Take and then take on b2? It must be better, right? Let's look for a sec. Rook b6, queen a4. Can I play queen h4 there? Maybe. Let's give this a go. This looks more more interesting. Can we do it? I'm worried about e3 there. About just queen f6. Threaten f2, but put my queen on a little stabler square. So far behind on the clock. And this way, if I take back rook on e6, I pin stuff. I guess I didn't really threaten stuff this way. Ooh. I throw in check. Does that do anything? Probably not. Okay, I'll take the rook. Let's go for it. I'm expecting castles here. And then I'm probably going to play king c8 and try to hide the king. Okay, still think I want to come to c8. If queen a8, I have rook b8. And I have a6 covered. Gotta go fast. I like that if the knight ever moves and they've castled, I'll have queen g6 to c6 check. Okay, that's now going to be covered. This is going to give me time to check and hopefully inconvenience them, though. Queen e6, threaten queen h3. Is it a threat? Not clear. Probably playing rook d8 next, unless I need my bishop saved. I wanted to get my queen on this side of the board before bishop f6. Fair enough. Okay, I'm going to come back. The king doesn't have a lot of space, and I do not have a lot of time. Try to play g5. Look to, attack where my king isn't. I like that my bishop plays well against their knight. Offer trade. I have 22 seconds, so this is going to be a loss, sadly. Try to come to d6. I have a check. Always check, it might be mate. Yep, missed this. Just trying to go fast. Keep some hope alive. Via the clock. Try to do this the slightly trickier way. Not cute. Sorry, I'm not talking. Just trying to go fast here. Yeah. Ample time. Okay. 4 for 5. Of course, had a nice position, but it was complicated. I probably shouldn't have gone in for these complications and blitz against the Grob without remembering stuff. But I thought... Where'd it go wrong? I thought I was supposed to be able to gambit this all. Knight c5's winning, just immediately. I dismissed this because of queen c6, but then bishop d7 traps the queen. I gotta look a move further. So queen b5, c6. Ah, that's cute, because bishop d7 still traps the queen. Nice. Nice. Okay. So I did sort of remember, but didn't understand. And that's a big problem when you remember part of theory, but you don't actually understand the theory, so you don't find the moves. But that is a cute trick. My coach used to teach you go c4, and he'd go d4. I think dc4 is also interesting. Bishop b7, knight d7, bishop a8, queen a8. The rooks hit, they have to play f3, and then he'd look to insert d3. Which might not be best here, maybe you should build up. You'll notice the computer does like black. He did have interesting prep, and this was in the pre-computer era, and he, had done this homework at home and thought it was pretty strong. Alright, 4 for 5. Shame I didn't get the 5er. Gonna try again.